Alrighty. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Once again, I'm your host with the most, Commander Judea here at One Nation Israelite Spirit. One Nation Israelite School. Welcome to another edition of Reading the Scripts. Genesis chapter 19. Once again, I'm your host with the most, Commander Judea, and with me,
Solomon Benjamin.
Solomon the Benjamin. So we're gonna go ahead and take y'all through the next part of the reading session. Make sure you got your Bibles. Make sure you're following along. Let's get it.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. I hope everybody's having a swell and very well Tuesday night. Because this is One Nation Israelite School, brought to you by One Nation Israelite School. Reading the Scripts. Genesis chapter 19 and verse 1. Genesis chapter 19 and verse 1. And these came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gates of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have two daughters, which have not known men. Let me pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as it is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he would need to be a judge. We would deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the man put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut to the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the man said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides, son-in-law? And thy sons and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord. And the Lord has sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy the city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning arose, the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the man laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hands of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters. The Lord began being merciful unto them, and they brought him forth, and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth aboard, that he said, escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my Lord. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast imagined thy mercy, which thou hast shown unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto. It is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. It is not a little one, and my soul shall live. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, and I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. Hasn't thee escaped thither? For I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore the name of this city was called Zorah. The sun was rising upon the earth when Lot entered into Zorah. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the city, and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord. And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, where he overthrew the cities in that which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zorah and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zorah. And he dwelt in the cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lay with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow, that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesterday with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lay with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughter of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Anami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. Chapter 20. Genesis chapter 20 and verse 1. And Abraham journeyed from thence towards the south country, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Amalek king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. But God came to Amalek and dreamed by night, and said to him, Behold, thou art but a dead man for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. But Amalek had not come near her. And he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, She is my sister. And she even herself said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocence of my hands have I done this. And God said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart. For I also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffer I thee not to touch her. Now, therefore, restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. Therefore, Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told all these things in their ears. And the man was so afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us? And what have I offended thee? That thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin. Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou, that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And it came to pass when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is thy kindness which thou shalt show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and manservant and woman servants, and gave them unto Abraham, and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before thee, where it pleases thee. And Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes, unto all that are with thee, and with all other. Thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed unto God, and God held Abimelech and his wife and his maidservant, and they bare children. For the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Genesis chapter 21 and verse 1. Genesis chapter 21 and verse 1. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said. And the Lord said unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given child suck? For I born him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman, and all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And also the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it was a bow shot. For she said, Let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad. And the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said unto her, What alighteth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad and hold him in thy hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew.
I'm sorry. Read. So like.
My reader, man.
Okay, Salakia, y'all. Go ahead. Cut up in the comment section, man.
Who trying to ride?
No. All right, Salakia. Go ahead.
Oh, I got a kill for what you just said.
Salakia, man.
Okay. What's not lasting?
Okay, man. Okay, goddamn. Oh God.
And God was with the lad, and he grew. And the well in the wilderness became an arch. Leave me alone. I'm done.
All right.
And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt.
Go ahead. Salakia.
And don't worry, I'm almost done.
Salakia, I'm sorry.
You're gonna be sorry. Keep focusing, man.
Okay.
And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Pishgal, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me here by God that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me, unto the land wherein thou shalt sojourn. Thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water, which Abimelech's servant had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who have done this thing, neither didst thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what mean these 7 ewe lambs, which thou hast set by themselves? He said, for these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me, that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called the place Beersheba, because there they swear both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba, and Abimelech rose up, and Pishgal, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourneyed in the Philistines' land many days.
I got it. I got it together. I'm holding it.
I'm done.
What chapter is that?
I'm on chapter 22.
Okay. Oh, God. All right. Shalom to my One Nation family. You know what I'm saying? No, I love y'all, man. Y'all are something else. Jazz, we see you in the class. You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening. Now, normally, y'all know when Solomon does the reading class, I don't use that time to teach or whatever. But if I could, I ask your permission. Could I bring a little something? I ain't gonna do it long. I'll be like 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So today I was in a Caribbean store, right? So I hear this older lady. She talking about how her son jumped on his grandmama. So her son jumped on her mother, I guess sometime this week or this weekend. Now, first thing I was hearing them say was, they were saying that she's like, well, the lady, whoever she was on the phone, she's like, well, you already know he think he a girl. So, because she's like, he don't went too far. When you put your hands on my mama, like I know I should have killed him when he tried to fight me, but I never thought he would fight his own grandmama. And then the lady's like, well, you know he think he a girl. So what I'm hearing is, first thing that comes to my mind is, who is to blame here? We know the father is, but the father's not there. So we're going to blame the father off dribble because he's not there. But then we're going to also blame his mother.
Right.
Because the scriptures tell us what? Let's go to, first of all, and when you see the sister, you can tell she's the type that back in her day, she may have looked good, but her attitude and her mindset would never allow a man to be there. Right. So watch this. Let's go to the script. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 5 and 8. I want y'all to see this. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 8. And I'm not gonna hold y'all long. I don't want to teach on Solomon's platform. So I'm gonna just bring like 2 or 3 scripts out. Because a homosexual child is failed parenting.
2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 8. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be set, and the fire shall be offset out again.
So there's going to be confusions in many places. Go ahead. And fire shall be set out often again. Come on.
And the wild beasts shall change their places.
And wild beasts shall change their places. Now, when you see fires breaking out from all over the place. Cali, anywhere you can really think of, but like fires just keep getting sent. They think they put it out, then they say, you know what, get sent back out again.
Right.
And then wild beasts changing their natural habitat. Now you got gators in the beach.
Yeah.
Come on.
And menstruous women.
And who?
And menstruous women
shall do what?
Shall bring forth monsters.
Menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Meaning what? Unclean women would bring forth monsters as children. Their kids would be goddamn monsters in the street. Monsters in the society. Now, the clearest sign of it all that you failed is when your son think that he's a goddamn woman.
Right.
Didn't take it off on top of that. She said he fought his grandmama. She know he tried to fight her before, but she never thought he would try to fight his own grandma. If he would fight you, common sense tells you what? And he thinks he's a girl. The foolishness of it. Just think about that. The scriptures tell us what? Proverbs 20 and 11, please.
Proverbs 20 and 11.
Uh-huh. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 11.
Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 11.
Because one thing you have to know for sure, failed parenting is homosexual. If your child's a homosexual, you failed at being a parent. If your child is a wild beast in the streets, you failed at being a parent. You failed him. Why? Because when you had a chance to, you didn't yoke that. Yeah, don't hit my back. Y'all better whoop these kids, man. Put them in the direction that they're supposed to go. But if he'll fight you, how in the hell could you say you didn't know he would try to fight his own grandmama? The scripture tells you what? Give me that, please.
Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 11. Even a child is known by his doing.
Say what?
Even a child is known by his doing.
When he was young and he was hitting you back when you hit him and you just laugh it off and let it be, by his doings, he was showing you what he was going to be.
Right.
Then he got older enough to look you in your face and fought you. His actions showed you who he is. He thinks he's a goddamn woman. And not only does he not believe that he's a man, but he also don't believe he has to respect you or any other adult. He has no respect for his elders. Why? Because he was raised by a mistress woman who ignored all his doings when he was growing into being that beast that he's become. The scriptures tell us to do what to these kids? Proverbs 22:6.
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6.
You have to break those things from the beginning. You cannot let things linger on and fester up, and then when it hit the ceiling, all of a sudden you reach up for help. Or you confused. Come on.
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go.
Train up a child in the way that he should go. How do you train? When you train him to do something, that means you learning, right? That's the beginning of everything. The scriptures say train and direct the child in the way that they should go. If you allow him, when you come home and he wearing your high heels and they're playing dress up in your room, and you, but you sound crazy. No, what you should have did is yoked him up and got on his butt and like women, you have to stop trying to be friends with your kids. Stop being scared of them and man. The moment you came home and he was in your damn room playing in your makeup and all this stuff, what you should have did, you should have snapped. You should have took it from play mode to let him know that's gay. Like you gotta from an instance, like throw that flip. And I mean, yes, that dramatic. Scared the shit out of his legs. Go ahead. Read it again.
And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
And when he is old, he will not depart from it. If respect was instilled in him when he was a kid for his elders, he would have never departed from that route. If you train your kids up in the law, statutes, and commandments, they will not go away from that route. But if you allow them to run astray, then you can't believe they're going to leave the running a straight route. The best thing you can do now is put some God in his life and hope that catch root. But it's pretty much a lost cause from here. Let's get it. Go to Isaiah 3. Isaiah 3 and 12. That's what I'm looking for.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors.
Now, what is the number one thing we finna hear about it? This family here. This one homosexual child is going to be the what? The oppressor of that family. Right. He gonna go around terrorizing mama, grandmama, and whoever else getting his way. And it's gonna take a real man to break him. And you know what mama gonna do? Don't hurt my baby. Why do women talk to their sons like they some little itty bitty girls?
They bump their damn head.
You look at I'm gonna show you how the mistress cycle keep going. Now tell me if I'm wrong, bro. The mistress cycle, it be women, they will have daughters and then they have sons. They treat the goddamn sons like they should be treating the daughters and let the daughters do what they want to do. So what happens? The sons grow up naturally soft and effeminate, and the daughters grow up like goddamn monsters, and what they do? Raise more monsters. Why could they repeat that same pattern?
Right. Right.
Read it again.
As for my people, children are the oppressors.
Children are the oppressors.
And women rule over them.
And women rule over them. Now, why is that such a bad statement there? Women rule over them. It's saying that the woman runs the house, the woman is over the man. Why is that bad?
It's not in order.
It's
It's not in order.
Can you tell them the order, please?
They go like this. Let me tell you this. They go God, Christ, the man, then the hot damn woman,
right,
and the kids.
Right. The scriptures, I want y'all to go get the order for them in the script just in case they don't believe you. Go get it in the scriptures for them. What?
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. Hold on, y'all give me a second. I'm flipping that. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Now that we got the order, right? Go back and read that Isaiah 3 and 12 again. You want me to just read it?
Oh, no. You know how you be watching it like this? My eye had flipped out. I mean, I didn't have
Isaiah 3 and 12, and I'm gonna go somewhere else real quick.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them.
And women rule over them. Once again, that is bad. Why? Because the order is set for the woman to follow someone. And that someone is a man. And if you're not in your position as a man, then you force her to step up in a position that's not for her.
Right.
And if you are a woman who cannot let a man lead, then I fear that you will be the next woman that we pull this scripture about.
Right.
About the woman who raised up goddamn monsters. The scriptures say that the women rule over them. You want to know what that sounds a lot like to me? Give me Jeremiah 31:22. Jeremiah 31 and 22.
Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 22.
Let me get it.
You said 22 or 30?
22.
Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter?
How long will you go about, oh backsliding daughters? Now, when somebody says you're a backslider, is that a good statement or a bad statement?
Bad.
That's something bad. Scripture say, how long will thou go about, oh backsliding daughter? So let's find out what's the bad thing in this scripture. Read on.
For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth.
There's a new thing in the earth. What is it?
A woman shall compass a man.
A what?
A woman shall compass a man.
Our order is jacked. You backsliding women, you have let society under the Most High's hand flip you and put you in a role to do what? Compass a man. You're more important. You're on the front of the household now. When the police come to the house, they don't even ask to speak to the man in the house no more. They say, let me speak to Big Mama. They tell the man to shut up.
Right.
The scripture is telling us it is a bad thing for you to compass the man. And it's an even more terrible thing when the man refuses to play his role, and now you raise his kid, but you don't raise the kid. You the whole life you tried to be this kid's friend. You ignored all the foolishness the kid was doing coming up. Then all of a sudden, when you get the pinnacle of what you created, now it's an issue. You don't know how this happened. You're raising demons out here. And it's going to be some fine gentlemen that put them to sleep all right? Because your kids are going out here killing people, robbing people, terrorizing people. They terrorize you.
Right.
There's some women right now, they'll never have a successful relationship because they're kids.
Right.
And it's some kids that'll never have a successful life, never even had a fair chance because of who their mother was, because of whose hands they were left in to care for them. Never had a chance. Never had a chance. So like I said, I really want to go in on this topic right now, but I'm going to peel my reins back because I've made a commitment to not take over, Solomon's platform. So I see y'all in the comment section, man. I love y'all at One Nation, man. I love my faith. Hey, love my One Nation family. I love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Hey, to the Israelites scattered amongst the four corners of the earth, we say we say shalom.
Shalom.
We say shalom. So it wouldn't be right if we just left like that. We got to give them the right exit. You know what I mean? We got to give them the right exit. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it the right way. Let's do it the right way. Y'all already know how we do it. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Once again, coming at you live with another episode of Reading the Scripts. Once again, I'm your host with the most, Commander Judea, and with me,
Solomon the Benjamite.
Solomon the motherfucking Benjamite. Y'all better make sure y'all tune in, stay live, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you get notifications and alerts anytime we go live. Now let's do it. So I pray y'all enjoyed this session. Once again, one nation, one love, keep it true, baby. Let's get it. One nation, one nation, one nation. Nigga, one nation, one nation, one nation. Read the scripts, nigga. Now get your ass up. 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 Now let's flip it. Friday. Friday Night Lights. Welcome to Friday. Friday Night Lights. Welcome to Friday. Friday Night Lights. Welcome to Friday. Friday Night Lights. Get 'em. 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 Let's switch it up. Welcome to One Nation, baby. All right. I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna give you the. Shall I do the morning talk one time? One nation. One nation. One nation. Morning talk, nigga. One nation. One nation. One nation. Morning talk, nigga. One nation. One nation. One nation. Morning talk, nigga. One nation. One nation. One nation. Morning talk, nigga. Now get your ass up. Now get your ass up. Now get your ass up. And the famous words of the one and only, what you? No, I'm just saying. All right, shalom, y'all. Shalom.